We just had the New Game Plus showcase from my friend Luke Stevens, and they had some pretty interesting reveals, including for the Blood of the Dawnwalker, and another one of my most anticipated games for 2026. So let's start over there. Let's talk Crimson Desert.
Could you speak a little bit to how big this game is?
We've been seeing some news out there with some specific numbers floating around about how big the map is.
I heard that it's like, if you want to ride on horseback from one side basically to the other, that it takes you like 2 hours, which is insane.
I don't think numbers really do it justice because how big is that in terms of scope and scale? But what we can say is the world's at least twice as big as the open world and playable area of Skyrim. It's larger than the map of a Red Dead Redemption 2. Open world game.
Of course, size, it's cool. Oh, it's bigger than, but we need to know. I mean, I prefer a smaller map with more to do than a huge map.
Games are about doing things, having activities, having distractions. So we want.
Love that you can ride a bear, by the way. Like, the mounts are crazy. You can fight with the bear, too.
Wanted to create a world.
And, of course, the raptor.
That's not only massive, but is also incredibly interactive.
And that's kind of my point, where it's like, okay, you say we want to have a world where it's super interactive, but all the sort of preview footage we've seen so far has been, look at these awesome boss battles. And yeah, they look varied, they look awesome, they look great, they play great. I've played the game for, I think, combined now 3 hours. And yeah, it really, you need to get used to it, but it's a very special experience. But talking about how big the world is, I need to see what is an hour in this game, right? Like, okay, I'm going into the open world. I will be distracted. What are the side missions like? What are the bounties like? What are just the activities I can do?
You choose the type of character that you want to play as in terms of your progression within the systems in the game.
And by the way, the gameplay that they show here, I think, so they did the developer interviews, but I don't think they got any new gameplay here. This is like from 2 years old, and that's kind of the only open world gameplay we still have. It looks great, but again, this is old footage.
Systems in the game, and then through basically headcanon, you're having this very different experience than other players because of the scope and scale of the game. You'll be distracted by something, you'll go on this quest line, you'll have an experience that'll be radically different than someone else, even though they're playing the same game.
So that's very interesting. So he says we are all doing the same missions, but the experience is still different. Like, again, it really comes down for me to show, don't tell. Okay, show me how this works. Because right now, I don't really see how, if I do this side mission and you in your game as well, we get a different experience.
There's a lot of time between now and launch in March.
Okay, he still confirms March. I don't think there's a lot of time. It's March 19th before you know it, so...
For us to be able to elaborate on those systems.
Okay.
Show people if they have, say, I have an hour to jump in and play this game after work, what is my experience going to look like?
Yes, I want to know that too. So, look, I really hope that they stick the landing, but I think even... It's gonna be a special game no matter what. I think the thing with this game is, can it reach the highs of like Skyrim and Witcher 3, like a game that will be talked about for years on end, or if it will just be a really interesting game to explore, and then by the end of it you're like, yeah, this could have been better. So I want to quickly go over some smaller news items and one interesting game that I saw as well, and then look at the Blood of the Dawnwalker stuff. So this is for the Division.
Division 3 is in production, right? This is not a secret. It's been announced. It's shaping up to be a monster. I can't really say anything more than that, but this is within these walls in Massive. We are working extremely hard on something that I think will be as big an impact as Division 1 was.
Big words, as big and have as much of an impact as the Division 1. Okay, I'm not sure if you remember how big the Division 1 was. So here, the Division breaks more sales records, passes Destiny, 330 million in 5 days, is good for a new industry standard for the first week performance of a new IP, and it hit 1.2 million concurrent users becoming the biggest new game franchise ever. Look, I wish them all the best. And I do think going for the Division 3 when Destiny 2 is kind of struggling right now, and it doesn't seem that Bungie is going to do Destiny 3, or at least we'll have that game ready in 2029. That's when I think Division 3 is likely scheduled. So they got something big. They could go big. But I think these are like very big statements from the executive producer here to say that it will have the same impact as Division 1. I mean, bring it on. We also had an Avowed update.
Super excited to announce that Avowed's finally going to come out to PS5.
Pre-orders are going to be live today. Keep an eye out on our socials, and we'll announce when the store page is open.
Okay, that's pretty big. So, Avowed, one of the bigger games from Xbox last year, dropping on February 17th, I think, on PlayStation 5. Yeah, here, February 17th. It will also have an anniversary update with New Game Plus, new races, new weapon types, a photo mode, and more. And I saw someone on Reddit say, man, it does feel like being an Xbox user getting these games 1 year earlier than the PS5. You're kind of like a beta tester, because when the PS5 people get to play the game, you have a way more expensive game. So you can check out the developer interview if you want to learn more about all the things they are changing here. Then I wanted to look at this game. It's kind of like Cyberpunk in a desert. It looks kind of awesome.
Outside the tower lies a harsh, scorched desert. You travel through it in a heavily modified car designed to protect you from extreme conditions such as heat and radiation. Inside the vehicle, you have access to your computer, storage, and a working radio.
I saw people say Cyberpunk New Vegas, and I get why. I don't think it will have the depth from a Cyberpunk in terms of the RPG elements, of course, but it looks surprisingly great. So this game is called X-Killer, and I will leave a link to this video as well in the video description.
A Dawnwalker is like a special kind of being in our IP. It's neither fully a vampire nor a human. It's something in between. What this means is basically that you, as a Dawnwalker, you have underwent a transformation. You used to be human. And now, during the nighttime, you do get all the powers and the difficulties of being a vampire. So you get the blood craving and so on. But during daytime, these powers are dormant and you still have to eat. You have all the weaknesses of a human, right? But also the perks of being human.
And that's the interesting thing about this game, is that you can also choose to tackle, from what it seems like, every activity or mission, either as a human or a vampire, and then they should completely play out in a different way. As a human, you're more interacting with other humans, you're investigating, maybe helping those humans, trying to get into locations that are locked, while as a vampire, you can use your powers, traverse rooftops, and enter through a secret passage that you cannot reach as a human. And the gameplay, again, using magic versus your vampiric powers, that's of course gonna be different. So I think this is gonna be a very interesting, also for replayability. It does feel that, yeah, if I do a mission as a human and you as a vampire, we do kind of have a different experience.
Generally speaking, one of the things we wanted to achieve in this game is to have Brentsis being this active antagonist. In this game, what we wanted to do is to have Brentsis react to your actions as you complete different activities throughout the valley, as you maybe undermine his operations and so on. The more you do in the valley, especially if you undermine Brentsis, you will gain notoriety. The more notorious you are, the more edicts Brentsis will pass in order to thwart you. So, for example, he might send out more soldiers to patrol roads and villages, right? He might in some extreme cases, maybe even initiate a lockdown of the city to basically hamper your ways of traversing it, right? It also has benefits. There are factions in the valley that dislike princes, so the more notoriety you gain, the better standing with them you get, like they actually like that.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know about this notoriety system yet, so yeah, getting it up will make the game more difficult, more soldiers, a lockdown of the city. That's awesome. So then I would imagine that you cannot like access through maybe as a human anymore, but using your vampiric powers you can maybe get out of the city or get in. But yeah, having these factions that then give more maybe rewards if your notoriety is higher. That's another kind of cool layer on top of already having the two ways to approach every mission.
There is a number of plot lines that you can follow if you want. You can also cut them off because we have added these systems where, for example, you might lose control over Cohen when he's a vampire if he was hungry. You might kill off some important NPCs and then the plot line just cuts off basically, or you get some alternative version.
That is crazy. So like there's this vampire bar. If it's full, then you lose control over Cohen, the main character, and he will just start eating the first person he sees. And this could be an important NPC, and then you cannot continue with the quest, or this whole quest line is like you're unable to complete it. That sucks. So I mean, again, I'm seeing really a lot of layers where in Crimson Desert I was like, I still want to know how the things that I do in this game have an impact on the rest of the activities so that, they actually feel different from someone else playing the game. With Blood of Dawnwalker, I already see the amount of things that can go different depending on if you eat the freaking important NPC for the quest, or if you play during night or during day, or if you have a high notoriety or a low one. Again, I think the systems in this game, if it all comes together nicely, is gonna be very interesting.
Is there romance in the game?
Romance, yes, of course. We do have romance options, yes. We didn't delve deep into like with whom yet.
Okay.
And, I'll leave that for the future to talk about. However, yes, you can expect to build relationships with characters. Like I said, there is like one main goal, very varying ways to get to it. These different ways that you pick will impact, what happens with Veil Sangora in the end. And it's all up to you. And I think I really recommend experimenting with this stuff and having fun with it.
So yeah, quite some interesting stuff from the Blood of Dawnwalker that I did not know about yet. Now, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe, of course, for more reaction content like this. And I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.